Hadith number 226, narrated by Abu Huraira. I heard Allah's Apostle saying regarding Ramadan, whoever prayed at night in it, the month of Ramadan, out of sincere faith and hoping for a reward from Allah, then all his previous sins will be forgiven. Hadith number 227, narrated by Abu Huraira. Allah's Apostle said, whoever prayed at night the whole month of Ramadan out of sincere faith and hoping for a reward from Allah, then all his previous sins will be forgiven. Ibn Shihab, a sub-narrator, said, Allah's Apostle died and the people continued observing that, i.e. Nawafil offered individually, not in congregation, and it remained as it was during the caliphate of Abu Bakr and in the early days of Umar's caliphate. Abdur Rahman bin Abdul Kari said, I went out in the company of Umar bin al-Khattab one night in Ramadan to the mosque and found the people praying in different groups. A man praying alone or a man praying with a little group behind him. So, Umar said, in my opinion I would better collect these people under the leadership of one Qari, reciter, i.e. let them pray in congregation. So, he made up his mind to congregate them behind Ubay bin Ka'b. Then on another night I went again in his company and the people were praying behind their reciter. On that, Umar remarked, what an excellent bid'ah, i.e. innovation in religion, this is, but the prayer which they do not perform, but sleep at its time is better than the one they are offering. He meant the prayer in the last part of the night. In those days, people used to pray in the early part of the night. Hadith number 228, narrated by Aisha. The wife of the Prophet, Allah's Apostle used to pray, at night, in Ramadan. Hadith number 229, narrated by Urwa. That he was informed by Aisha, Allah's Apostle went out in the middle of the night and prayed in the mosque and some men prayed behind him. In the morning, the people spoke about it and then a large number of them gathered and prayed behind him, on the second night. In the next morning the people again talked about it and on the third night the mosque was full with a large number of people. Allah's Apostle came out and the people prayed behind him. On the fourth night the mosque was overwhelmed with people and could not accommodate them, but the Prophet came out, only, for the morning prayer. When the morning prayer was finished he recited Tashahhud and, addressing the people, said, Badu, your presence was not hidden from me but I was afraid lest the night prayer, Qiyam, should be enjoined on you and you might not be able to carry it on. So, Allah's Apostle died and the situation remained like that, i.e. people prayed individually. Hadith number 230, narrated by Abu Salama bin Abdur Rahman. That he asked Aisha, how was the prayer of Allah's Apostle in Ramadan? She replied, he did not pray more than 11 rakat in Ramadan or in any other month. He used to pray 4 rakat, let alone their beauty and length, and then he would pray 4, let alone their beauty and length, and then he would pray 3 rakat, witr. She added, I asked, O Allah's Apostle, do you sleep before praying the witr? He replied, O Aisha, my eyes sleep but my heart does not sleep. Hadith number 231, narrated by Abu Huraira. The Prophet said, whoever fasted the month of Ramadan out of sincere faith, i.e. belief, and hoping for a reward from Allah, then all his past sins will be forgiven, and whoever stood for the prayers in the night of Qadr out of sincere faith and hoping for a reward from Allah, then all his previous sins will be forgiven. Hadith number 232, narrated by Ibn Umar. Some men amongst the companions of the Prophet were shown in their dreams that the night of Qadr was in the last 7 nights of Ramadan. Allah's Apostle said, it seems that all your dreams agree that, the night of Qadr, is in the last 7 nights, and whoever wants to search for it, the night of Qadr, should search in the last 7 nights of Ramadan. Hadith number 233, narrated by Abu Salama. I asked Abu Sa'id, and he was a friend of mine, about the night of Qadr, and he said, we practiced itikaf, seclusion in the mosque, in the middle third of the month of Ramadan with the Prophet. In the morning of the 20th of Ramadan, the Prophet came and addressed us and said, I was informed of the date of the night of Qadr, but I was caused to forget it, so search for it in the odd nights of the last 10 nights of the month of Ramadan. In the dream, I saw myself prostrating in mud and water, as a sign. So, whoever was in el-tikaf with me should return to it with me, for another 10 days period, and we returned. At that time there was no sign of clouds in the sky but suddenly a cloud came and it rained till rainwater started leaking through the roof of the mosque which was made of date palm leaf stalks. Then the prayer was established and I saw Allah's Apostle prostrating in mud and water and I saw the traces of mud on his forehead. Hadith number 234, narrated by Aisha. Allah's Apostle said, search for the night of Qadr in the odd nights of the last 10 days of Ramadan. Hadith number 235, narrated by Abu Said al-Khudri. Allah's apostle used to practice itikaf in the mosque, in the middle third of Ramadan, and after passing the 20 nights he used to go back to his house on the 21st, and the people who were in itikaf with him also used to go back to their houses. Once in Ramadan, in which he practiced itikaf, he established the night prayers at the night in which he used to return home, and then he addressed the people and ordered them whatever Allah wished him to order and said, I used to practice itikaf for these 10 days, i.e. the middle 113 RD, but now I intend to stay in itikaf for the last 10 days of the month. So whoever was in itikaf with me should stay at his place of seclusion. I have verily been shown the date of this night of Qadr, but I have forgotten it. So search for it in the odd nights of the last 10 days of this month. I also saw myself, in the dream, prostrating in mud and water. On the night of the 21st, the sky was covered with clouds and it rained, and the rainwater started leaking through the roof of the mosque at the praying place of the Prophet. I saw with my own eyes the Prophet at the completion of the morning prayer leaving with his face covered with mud and water. Hadith number 236, narrated by Aisha. The Prophet said, look for the night of Qadr. Hadith number 237, narrated by Aisha. Allah's apostle used to practice itikaf in the last 10 nights of Ramadan and used to say, look for the night of Qadr in the last 10 nights of the month of Ramadan. Hadith number 238, narrated by Ibn Abbas. The Prophet said, look for the night of Qadr in the last 10 nights of Ramadan, on the night when 9 or 7 or 5 nights remain out of the last 10 nights of Ramadan. Hadith number 239, narrated by Ibn Abbas. Allah's apostle said, the night of Qadr is in the last 10 nights of the month, Ramadan, either on the first 9 or in the last, remaining 7 nights of Ramadan. Ibn Abbas added, search for it on the 24th of Ramadan. Hadith number 240, narrated by Ubadah bin As-Samit. The Prophet came out to inform us about the night of Qadr, but 2 Muslims were quarreling with each other. So, the Prophet said, I came out to inform you about the night of Qadr, but such and such persons were quarreling, so the news about it had been taken away, yet that might be for your own good, so search for it on the 29th, 27th and 25th of Ramadan. Hadith number 241, narrated by Aisha. With the start of the last 10 days of Ramadan, the Prophet used to tighten his waist belt and used to pray all the night, and used to keep his family awake for the prayers.